Welcome to the 11 cheap places to retire and thrive for less than $1,000 a month. That is tonight's topic as we enter into our second week of lives to focus on the ability, I don't want to say ease, but it's moving abroad can often be easier than we like to think it is. And so in this Stay Ready So We Don't Have to Get Ready series, which was only supposed to be 7 days when I started, but due to the overwhelming response and interest and key feedback from people saying that thank you, I'm getting out of here. Thank you. This was so helpful. Oh my gosh, this video was so emotional. I'm going to keep this train going. So, let me introduce myself first. So if you are new to the channel, my name is Kim, aka Kim with the Gems. And on this channel, we talk all things wellness, travel, and finance from a cultural perspective and from a Black woman's point of view. I like to always say sharing is caring. So if there's information that I have that I think can benefit our community, I am definitely one to get the bullhorn and let the people know. I am a Mexican resident. I have temporary residency in Mexico that once it expires, I'm going into my full, so I completed 2 years. Well, I'll complete 2 years next month. But once I finish the 4 years, then I am able to get permanent residency. And so through the process, I learned a lot, met a lot of people, but also had conversations with other people that didn't know a lot, had no idea. So hence this YouTube channel was kind of birthed. I'm also the creator and founder of Black Travel and Culture Community, which is, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And it's a rather large community. And I've had that community since about 2017. But here on YouTube, I am here to, like I said, just share the knowledge that I have in certain areas: wellness, travel, and finance. So again, like I said, at the start of this week, I decided to go live to encourage people who are interested. There are more people interested now than ever in thinking about making a move. And so I'm sharing my expertise, information, and resources with anyone who, comes across these videos. So I like to call it like a prepared readiness toolkit, right? So if you have these things ready and available, you don't have to worry about gathering them at the last minute. And on to the countries that we're going to talk about today. Yesterday, there was a question about affordability of Mexico on a retired person's salary. Somewhat. And I don't know what's going on with the Wi-Fi. So I'm going to actually try to switch over to my hotspot. Give me a second. It looks like it's back on, but I think I'm going to do the hotspot just in case. Anyway, so yesterday there was a question about affordability as it relates to a pension and retired salary. And we were able to, figure that out. But I definitely wanted to bring, as part of this conversation, other places where it is drastically cheaper than here in the US to live on a monthly, based on your monthly expenses. And so today we're going to go over, there's a list of 11 plus a bonus. So we may even start with the bonus because I think it's so cute. But there's a list of 11 places that I'm going to go over. We're not going to go in detail. We're just going to really talk about the income and age requirements and what your expected monthly expenses will be in these said countries. So we're probably going to go over probably like 8, and then the bonus. 2 of the countries, which I'll just get those out now, 2 of the countries I've already discussed in another video, and they're also available in the From Here to There toolkit with the clickable link, so you can go directly to the immigration office website and see what those requirements are. And so let's quickly just talk about those 2 countries, Colombia and Panama. The cost of living there, I don't know if we used one of those. We might have used Panama as an example to figure out the cost of living as compared to another city in the US, and showcase that we're looking at anywhere from like 60 to 80% differential. And so there's a lot of savings when it comes to moving abroad. And so we're going to just add those 2 to the list, Colombia, Panama. I'll link that video that I talked about, those countries up here, so you can, review that. But we're going to start tonight with the bonus. And I believe I introduced myself. If I didn't, forgive me. I'm Kim, aka Kim with the Gems. And so, like I said, this is a small number of countries. More countries will be listed in the resource guide that's coming. It's a mega resource guide with, right now we're looking at about 70 plus countries with all of the information. Anything you could think of that you would need to know about will be listed in that. I was expecting, or I wanted to release it the end of this week coming up, however, I think it's a little premature, because what I'm noticing is quite a few of the countries have not released their information for 2025. And realistically, most of us or most people who are looking or just starting the process now will be looking at earliest to do this in 2025. So it doesn't make sense for me to release a resource guide with dated information. So I might do a pre-order starting next week, like with the 50% discount. And then once it's complete, which should be no later than sometime in December, once they, all these countries release what the 2025 requirements are going to be, then it will go live then. So let's talk about, we talked about most people won't start the process. I'm going through my notes. Sorry about that. So we're going to go over the plus. That's what the bonus. It's not really a country, but it's a retirement opportunity. And you can do all of this on a budget. And there is somebody who I started following. Well, she's relatively new to YouTube, but some way the algorithms connected us. And she actually has decided at the age of 53 to retire by living on a cruise ship, all with a budget of $2,000 a month. So she goes from cruise ship to cruise ship, country to country, port to port, all for $2,000 or less each month. And she breaks it down on her channel. Actually, I'm going to pull up her channel so you can take a quick glimpse. But I thought this was quite a unique way. Now, I've heard other people that don't look like us talk about this, but for her to do this, and especially as a solo woman, I just thought it was rather unique. And so I'm going to pull up her YouTube channel so you can see. Okay, so why is this not showing? Again, Windows, entire screen. Okay, so let me, I think what the problem is, you know what? I'm not even going to say what the problem. I'm just going to pull it up. So her name is From Poverty. Well, her name is Linnell, and the name of her channel is From Poverty to Paradise. How cute is that? And I am going to pull up her channel just so you can see the type of topics she covers. And the great thing about it is she's doing this solo. Imagine if, you know, I don't know what the cost would be like, but sometimes it's cheaper to travel when you're traveling with somebody and you're splitting the cost. But the fact that she's able to do this solo, I think is amazing. So there we go. So this is From Poverty to Paradise, and her name is Linnell. And okay, that's a better view. Hopefully you can see that. Just make sure. Yeah, you can see that. So let's just quickly go through some of her recent topics. So if you look at her page, she's talking about, let's go to the videos. There we go. Well, let's go to her most popular ones. This is what blew up her channel. I think she only started, let's see, she launched her channel in March of this year, but she really didn't start posting until really 5 months ago. Well, yeah, 5 months ago is when she really started being consistent and popped off. And so this video, which has over 256,000 views right now, posted 5 months ago, discover the surprising cost of living full-time on a cruise ship. And then she talks about what will it cost you to live full time on a cruise ship. And the thing that I like about her channel, she breaks down, even when she has to stay in a hotel before the cruise ship, disembarks, she breaks down those prices. She also gives you resources like a website that you can go to before you go to the actual cruise ship website to put in all your filters, your budget, all that good stuff. Do you want to only, leave from the US? Are you open to leaving from other countries? All of that good stuff. And she showcases how last month, I want to say, for 35 days, her total expenses was $2,040. And so I highly recommend, if you're interested in a unique way of bopping around the world and not having to, be responsible for a mortgage, a car note, but you get to experience other cultures and other experiences, then check out From Poverty to Paradise's channel. So that's the bonus. That really is not breaking down like a income requirement or age restriction or anything like that. But I definitely thought it was something unique. Hey, Buck Stops here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And so, yeah, so if you get to check out From Poverty to Paradise's channel, do so. I definitely think you'll get and she gives the information. It's so easily digestible. That's what I love about it. So let's get into our list. And the first one I'm going to start with, I gave to you the criteria on why these countries are on the list. There's no pros, no cons being discussed tonight. The only thing that's being discussed tonight is cost of living as compared to the US, it being cheap, right? And then ease of access for residency as a US citizen. And, if you want to get your temporary residency or permanent residency there as well. And so those were the two requirements. And so let's just get into the first one, Argentina. Now, understand, I am not recommending Argentina at all. I am just saying that Argentina is a country that is home of over 60,000 expats. The requirements to become a citizen, as if that's what you're interested in, is only $2,000 in income to get the residential visa. But I am going to say, I'm going to quote some things that, I want you to think about. If this is someplace that you thought about, like Buenos Aires or, any of the surrounding cities, if these are places that you may have thought about visiting, then go ahead, do your research. However, the new president is a mini version of the person coming into office next year. What's up, QB Boogie? And when I say a mini version, definitely think far right, very divisive, and and they just had a meeting. And I don't know if that, most of us want to leave from one country to go to another country to experience some of the things we're trying to leave behind in, our said country. So, and the former president, this is the quote I wanted to say, the former president was quoted saying that there was no room for Black people in Argentina. And if you know any of the history, what Argentina did to the Afro-Argentina population is similar to what I believe this country is trying to do to the Afro-American population, or Afro-Haitian, Afro-Black, So take Argentina with a grain of salt. I just wanted to include them as a potential due to the criteria of today, which is being cheap and getting residency easy. Okay, so let's go to the next country on the list. Hold on one second. I pulled up, let me get rid of From Poverty to Paradise and pull up, here we go. So next on the list is Belize. And Belize has an amazing program. Basically, and let me see, I could probably share this. Well, all of this is going to be in the resource guide that I'm putting out, so I don't want to share it right now. But Belize, you only have to be 40 years old. You only have to show that you have $2,000 a month income, and that is from any resource. So if you have 24,000 in the bank, if you have, I forgot what the pension is, but I think they said the average pension is close to 2,000. Or no, Social Security, excuse me. The average Social Security is like close to 2,000 in the U.S. So you're almost there. So you just have to prove that you have 2,000 in monthly income. And let's talk about, oh yeah, we're not talking about the rents and stuff in Argentina or the cost of living. Just know it's cheap. I don't want to promote it. I have not really good things to say other than I like empanadas. I like a good empanada, but other than that, I have nothing else good to say. So let's get back to Belize. Rent is typically 80% less than that of the United States, okay? 80% less than what you're paying here in the United States. And a studio average is about $300 a month. So let's also qualify. We're not talking if you have a beachfront property or if you are in the heart of the city. We're talking if you're living, like most people don't live in the downtown heart of the city areas or on the beach. So just think about, maybe 10 minutes from downtown, whatever. We're talking $300 a month for a studio, $600 a month for a 1-bedroom. And if you're looking for a little luxury, $1,000 a month. And when I say a little luxury, that means like 4 bedrooms, 3 to 4 bathrooms, beautiful floor to ceiling windows, all the amenities, air condition, all of that. We're looking at $1,000 a month. There are videos people that I know, because Mexico is not that far from Belize, and there are people that I know that have purchased land and started building for under 100,000, like 80 to 100,000, and beautiful properties. So Belize should definitely be someplace, if you could stand hot weather, that you should consider. And then next on the list, we're going to go into this destination a little bit more in detail, because I think it's a pretty good destination if you don't mind being far away. And the reason why I say that is because it's Indonesia, drum roll, it's a little too late, but Indonesia has really low cost of living, low barrier to entry as a citizen. And other than it being so far from the US, I hear just such amazing things from people who have moved there, like just from a zen, a whole weight off your shoulder, like just such positive feedback. And so I just want to quickly go over the requirements, and then I'll go over some of the cost of living. So the requirements must be at least 35 years old. 35, right? You have to show that you have a certain amount of money in the bank. So it requires you to maintain $20,000 deposit in an approved retirement account. This money must stay untouched for the totality of your stay. Oh, I'm sorry. They're right next to each other. I'm sorry. I'm reading the Philippines. Indonesia. Indonesia is, let me go to the Indonesia. Philippines is the one that I want to go over in detail. Okay. Indonesia, you only need 3,000 to show that you have 3,000 a month. You must be 60 years old to get the retirement visa, which helps you kind of bypass other rules and regulations, and it's a lower barrier to entry. So it's 3,000 a month income requirement. Most people live on 1,000 a month in expenses, and that includes the rent, the incidentals, whatever transportation. We're talking $1,000 a month. If you buy a second home, you can get a second home visa. If you buy a home there, it's called a second home visa, and you can stay for 10 years. The first one I talked about with the 3,000 month income requirement, you have to renew every year, and it's renewable up to 5 times before I think you can go to permanent residency. And if you do the second home visa, you have to have 125,000 in the bank. So that's still not bad, right? 125,000 compared to, what they want to see for home ownership here in the States. It's completely doable. And there's over 17,000 islands in Indonesia to choose from. So most people know of, Bali or Bali, but there are 17,000 other islands that people are calling home. Of course, you want to be, not too rural, especially, if you want the amenities of being able to go to the doctor or, food shopping and all that other great stuff. And healthcare is quite important. That's why tomorrow at 7 p.m., that's what our live is going to be about. The top countries with the most affordable and highly ranked healthcare. So come back tomorrow for that. So we did Indonesia. Sorry, I've got ahead of myself with the Philippines. Next on the list is Malaysia. Now, once again, if you're open to moving kind of far away, then Malaysia may be that place. I don't know anyone personally that lives in Malaysia, but I do know people who visit Malaysia, people who live in Thailand, people who I know that are in Vietnam go to Malaysia frequently because it's, it has a lot of luxury. But as it relates to getting your visa, they make it very open and available to Americans. And so, hold on one second. I want to make sure. And if you're, if this is your first time here, do me a favor. Even if it's your second or third or fifth time here, hit the like button. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Like I said, this week, we're going to continue with the lives. I have my schedule, so I could tell you guys right now, I'll be live 7 o'clock tomorrow, 7 o'clock Tuesday. We'll probably do a after dark late night conversation, probably around 10, 10:30. This way, my West Coast people or people on Pacific Standard Time can join. And then on Thursday, we're back at 7. And then Friday, we're going to do probably a morning ish. So maybe like 11 a.m. So just, come back, check my community board, and you will see exactly the next time we go live. So yes, so Malaysia, then we're going to go into, and you know what, I'm probably going to mispronounce it, but Paraguay. Paraguay is known to be 70%, as it relates to cost of living, 70% lower than the US. Residency is super easy. Well, I won't say super easy. It's relatively easy. See what is happening. Let's just go to Peru. Peru was next on the list anyway, but we'll get back to Paraguay in a minute. So Peru is another place that has super easy barrier to entry. We're looking at $1,000 a month from your pension. That is it. When you're talking about the average rental in Peru, $500 or less. And I mean, these are for homes. We're not even talking apartments. We're talking homes with a yard, and we're not talking old dated homes. We're talking very nice homes. And I will have all like links to reputable realtors that you can, see what type of rentals they have going on. But again, they don't have an age restriction or anything for this listed. So $1,000 a month, no matter $1,000 a month from your pension, no matter your age, right? But usually people who get pensions tend to be older. But the other thing is it's 1 year renewable. So you have to renew. Once you get approved, you have to renew annually to continue to live there. And it's called a rentista visa. A rentista visa that only requires you to show that you generate $1,000 in income a month. And so Peru, I definitely believe, is someplace that many people don't talk about. Machu Picchu is, someplace that we hear about or see a lot of from a tourist perspective, but supposedly the Peruvian people are so nice in Peru. Now, I'm not saying it's like that all across, hey, Ed. Yeah, I'm not saying it's all across. They're like that all across the world, but definitely in Peru, they are known to be very nice people. I'm sorry. Okay, so now let's go to, I'm trying to toss the ones that are stuck for some reason. They just want me to keep talking about Belize and Indonesia. So next will be, let's just go to Thailand. Thailand is one of my favorite places in the world, and someplace, if it was a little closer, I could see myself calling home. The flight is, quite intense from New York. And, you have to take at least two planes. We flew into excuse me. We flew into China. Oh my gosh, the Great Wall. We flew into China, and from China we flew to Phuket. And from Phuket, we, bopped around and was able to visit quite a few other cities, and every place was amazing. And it's not just because of the cost of living. Oh, I'm not supposed to be talking about pros and cons. I'm just supposed to be talking about cost of living, right? So let's get back to that. So with Thailand, we are looking at either $2,000 a month for the retirement visa or $22,000 in bank deposits. The minimum age requirement is the age of 50. And your visa duration, your resident visa duration is 1 year, but you can renew it each year. And so when you talk about rent, um, we're talking anywhere, depending on what part of Thailand, you could rent from $300 for the basics, all $300 a month, all the way up to, if you want luxury, we're looking at still 1,000 or less. And so anyone who's been to Thailand like knows. For me, I think the food is similar to soul food in the way they cook. Lots of flavored sauces, um, so the curry sauce, and not just soul food. If you're, if you have Caribbean roots, it's all reminiscent of that. The food is great, it's cheap, the fruit are amazing, and the cost of living is, one of the best places I think in the world. And I have only had really good experiences with the people there. I've never come across any type of ism, so to speak. That's where they found, yes, Philippines is a good option. That's where they found them elongated. Okay. I'm going to have to, I didn't know about that. I'm going to have to check that out. But yeah, I do know that Peru is another place that has just great, great food. And so, but I'm not sure about the elongated skulls. Just curious to, learn more about that. And so let me go to the next one because it's already 34 minutes. Where does the time go, guys? Oh my gosh. I was supposed to be rushing, not rushing, but I wanted to keep you get like, I didn't want to be here. 40 minutes has been, okay, so we're going, did I say the Philippines yet? 40 minutes was my time limit that I kind of wanted to stick to. Not sure if I did the Philippines, but let's just quickly go over that real quick. The name of the visa is the SRRV visa, as it relates to what your income or what the requirements are. $800 a month as a single person is what you have to show as income. For couples, it's $1,000 a month. I'm glad I wrote this down as well because this StreamYard. But $1,000 a month as a couple. If you're retired U.S. military, there are special perks that you get for being retired military, and the residency visa is permanent. The minimum age is 35. So not only do you only have to be 35, you can get an indefinite resident card at the age of 35, meeting these low criteria, right? So you do have to show, let me say, you do have to show that you have about, what is it? Depending on where you live, and I guess other qualifying factors, you do have to show that you have money in the bank. So that can range anywhere between 10,000 and 50,000. But if you're retiring, you should have money in the bank if you're going to get residency in another country, so that you're not a burden on that country. But Philippines is someplace that also is known to have very nice, warm people. One of my favorite people in the world, hey Kai, if you're watching, is she's from the Philippines. And when I tell you, one of the warmest, sweetest people I've ever met. And so, and the same with her family. And so I truly, although I've never been to the Philippines, based on the criteria of it being inexpensive, let's just use the word cheap, as well as having this indefinite visa duration, and you only have to be 35. If I didn't already pick Mexico, and again, if it was closer to the US, I don't know. I very well may pick the Philippines or do more research on the Philippines. And so let me just make sure I didn't skip anything. So we went over Indonesia, we went over Argentina, we went over Thailand. We didn't go over Uruguay. So let's do that because Uruguay is another place that is highly recommended. Um, I can't I can't say that they have a very high Black expat community, but they do have a expat community, and not everyone is looking for a Black expat community, and so I realize that. But we will go. We will review the pros and the cons, like some of the pros and the cons for some of these places, and all of this again will be in the resource guide. Oh, here's Paraguay. Finally got to it. Okay. So, as it relates to Paraguay, the reason why they ranked so high on the list was, oh my gosh, not only do they have healthcare that averages, so when you move there, they require you, when you become a citizen, they require you to pay monthly for healthcare. But the healthcare is only one, and it's private healthcare insurance, is only $100 a month. $100 a month for private, high quality healthcare. They're known for, having really good healthcare. And right, so there's not a huge expat community, but there are expats, and it's supposedly growing. People are finding this as a destination that is kind of off the beaten path. It's not, I guess a lot of places where the expat communities are growing, the prices are also growing. The rents are also growing. Whereas Paraguay, not so much. And the cost of living is 70% lower than the average US cost of living. And there's no age requirement, no minimum income to get residency. So again, just some place to think about. These are places that will be, like I said, in the resource guide once it's complete, and direct links to the to the immigration sites. And so, did we do Uruguay? Let's just do Uruguay real quick. I'm not going to try to pull it up on the computer. I'll just do it from here. It's known as the Switzerland of South America. And it lays between, for those who don't know, Argentina and Brazil. Average monthly cost of living ranges between $500. Now, this is entire cost of living, so we're not talking rent. So cost of living per month per person is from $500 to $2,000. So you can live very luxurious at the $2,000 mark, and no minimum income requirement, no minimum age requirement. You just, I'm sorry. Jeez Louise. It's shut down. So anyway, I think I gave you the basics. Uruguay is known as the Switzerland of South America. Very peaceful place to live. No uprisings, not really part of any major political disruptions. From the research that I have done, people feel safe, secure, and have a better quality of life. And so I believe I covered everything. Indonesia, Argentina, Belize, Thailand, Uruguay, Paraguay, Philippines, Peru, Colombia, and Panama. I'm going to link the video that I did where I already covered them. And I may have gave you extra because I think I said Malaysia as well. And so hopefully this will be helpful for anyone who is interested in, living someplace where you don't feel like you're breaking your neck, right? And we started with the woman Linnell, who has From Poverty to Paradise, who found what works for her. She is living on a cruise ship. And the beautiful thing about living on a cruise ship, right? All you can eat food, entertainment every day. Somebody else is making up your bed, right? If you want to add laundry service, which I believe I think she does, but she also talks about how you can, wash your own clothes, but you can get your, and I think they also have some ships have laundromats for the people who, have booked. So she found a way that works for her. And when you get a chance, definitely check out her channel. The only thing I wanted to say about Colombia is that, and certain other Latin American countries, and even Indonesia, you do have to produce um, clear background checks. So they are not trying to have criminals come and just ruin um, the peace that the people have found in these countries. And they also want you to have um, pretty clean healthcare records. So you have to get your records from, the US and your doctor. And then some places require you to, well, just one place requires you to see a doctor when you get there. And so they're not trying to, mess up what they got going on. And I totally understand that. But all this type of information will definitely be included in the resource guide, which I'm reading from the resource guide that's almost complete, except some of the dates, some of the countries the dates need to be updated. And I'm trying also not to give everything away. Well, not necessarily. I just don't want to give too much at one time. So it's like 11 cheap places, 5 things you need to do, because it can be overwhelming. And that's why I want this resource guide to be so easy to navigate through. That's why the From Here to There resource guide with the 8 top places that Black Americans are finding soft landings is very easy to use, very clickable. And yeah, and so tomorrow, like I said, we are going live at 7 p.m. and we're going to discuss the top countries, probably about 7 or 8. So we could try to keep it to the 40 minutes cutoff time. And if you're watching on the other, once this is done, in the future, go ahead and put this video on 1.2, 1.5, 1.7 speed, whatever works for you, 1.75 speed, so you can get through it quicker. I know it's a lot of information and I'm going through it in real time, but you don't have to watch it on regular speed, normal speed. I know I don't when I do, most of my YouTube watching. So I believe that's all that I have. If you have any questions about anything that I went over, if there's any other topics that you want me to cover during this live, because we are definitely doing this at least for the next week. We probably, if the engagement continues and the people are still loving the information, I will continue to bring you the information. And I have some really good topics. I'm not going to share all of them right now tonight. Each day I will share them, or the night before I will share them. So I already told you what's coming up on Monday with healthcare. I will post tomorrow. Well, I might post tonight what's coming up on Tuesday as well. But I definitely, again, as somebody who had to do a lot of research when I was deciding what place was going to be the best fit for me, I definitely know how overwhelming and cumbersome it can be. And so these playlists, I hope, will be easy for you to navigate through all the information that's out here. So with that being said, I can't see if there's any comments. Let me go back here. You'll be in Los Cabos, Mexico tomorrow. I like the close, I like the close proximity to, yes, me too. That's why, Mexico, I don't know that it will be my only place that I get residency. I don't think it will be, but it was the first place. And I like Los Cabos. The only thing is I prefer, and I mentioned this, I believe, yesterday, I like the Caribbean side of, Mexico versus the Pacific side. I do believe that everyone has a preference, because when I went to Puerto Vallarta, I liked the city, kind of, sort of. The only thing I will say about Puerto Vallarta, and see, I'm going to start rambling again. There were too many expats from too many expats from Canada as well as the US that try to, it seems like they try to make Puerto Vallarta another city in US versus embracing the Mexican culture. That was my experience. Can't say that it's like that, year round, but the time that I was there, I didn't enjoy it as much because of those reasons. And also, I like the Caribbean water better um, than I do the Pacific side and the sand. So yeah, thank you, Mo. Thank you for the compliment. I appreciate you tuning in. I hope that, like I said, even and I see it through the comments, like if I get a couple people to come across the border or go across the water, either or, go across the water or come across the border. I don't care, but I want us to have options. And residency gives you options, because without it, just like what they're about to do here in this country with the mass deportation, that can happen both ways, right? I don't think it will happen in Mexico just because we financially are an asset, but some other countries may not be as much of an asset. And so based on what happens in this country, we need to have options. That's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to force nobody to do anything, because everything is not for everybody. And so when I get the comments like, oh, you need to stay and fight. Yeah, no, that's not my ministry. It's not, I've been an activist for a very long time, and, enough is enough, and I'm tired. QB Boogie. Oh, yes. I love it. I don't know if you follow Passport Heavy, but I know he has a partnership, and he's part of the building up of Belize to bring more people from the US to invest, buy homes, all that good stuff. And so if you don't follow him, I know he's on social media as Passport. His name is Jabril. He has a YouTube channel, and he also is on, I know, Instagram. I'm not sure TikTok, but Instagram. And he talks about his experiences in Belize. So check him out. Nice. I was in Cancun, Puerto Juarez, and Isla Mujeres on the Caribbean side earlier this year, but the temp was a little too high. Yeah, I agree. The buck stops here. You ain't never lie, as they say. I can't do so. That's why I understand people have to do what they need to do for them. I will be in New York in the summertime. Like, I love New York in the summertime. Playa del Carmen in the summertime, I could not do it. The humidity, the heat. Now, there was a heat wave here in New York too this summer, so who knows what the future is going to bring. But I do agree. Like Isla Mujeres, Cancun, and even Puerto Juarez can be a little too stifling in the summer months, and that's hurricane season too. And so I prefer not to be in the midst of someplace, right on the Mexican Gulf handle, right? It's the Gulf, Mexican Gulf. There you go. Where the hurricanes can be intense. And I know Playa del Carmen got hit pretty hard this past summer too. So I definitely don't want to be there in the summer. But listen, anytime from November through May, I love it. I love it, love it, love it. January 2024, what was that? Oh, you mean January 2025 is when you'll be in, because your last comment was you'll be in Los Cabos. For my next thumbnail that I talk about Mexico, I may use my pictures from there. Oh yeah, you've seen a few of Jabril's videos. Yeah, hot there in Belize. Yeah, hot there. I think you're saying it's hot in Belize. Is that a phrase? I'm not sure. But yeah. Oh, and somebody asked me, like, what is this right here? That is a signed doll from Ludacris. Ludacris has a TV, children's show called Karma's World that's named after his oldest daughter. And I was lucky enough to get a signed autographed copy of the doll that he released not too long ago. Yeah, it's on Netflix. It comes on Netflix, and it's my niece loves it, so we both got one, and I kept mine. And I like to look at that. I don't know why. It just, with everything going on, when I see it, when the video's playing, it brings a sense of calm and peace. Takes me to my childhood again. So, anywho, but thank you guys. We're at 53 minutes. I'm gonna let everyone go. It's 8 o'clock. Oh, that's when you were. Oh, okay, I got it. So you were there. You were in Cancun, Puerto Juarez, and Isla Mujeres in January 2024. Oh, I was in Playa del Carmen, but I did, do some trips over to Isla Mujeres. I love Isla Mujeres. It's a beautiful place. I wouldn't live there. It's just too small of an island for me, but I know people, I've met people that have homes there. Such a beautiful, beautiful, the water is beautiful. It's just a beautiful place. Cancun, I like Cancun as a hangout place. I like to experience Cancun because it's just too touristy. Like everybody I meet is a tourist. So I like that Playa still has, like if I go to the local supermarket, I am immersed with the culture, right? So I don't feel that in Cancun, and it's maybe the places I'm going, but I love Cancun, like I said, to hang out. And I do recommend it for people who are, and it's actually in one of my videos. I talked about Cancun is a safe place to land for people who are just thinking about, moving abroad or getting a taste of what it's like to live in Mexico. But I will say, Cancun, you could get in trouble. So you need to know who you are. You could get in trouble anywhere, but the presence of, I think, bad influences. Now, I don't want to say that it's a dangerous place because I don't believe that, but because it's so touristy, it's just like being in New York. You just have to be very careful on, who you're meeting, who you're, engaging with. It's not as easy breezy than places like, to me, Puerto Juarez and Puerto Morelos and even Tulum is kind of getting like that. It's getting a little too Americanized, I want to say, or Canadianized. It's not. It's just different, and so I'll leave it at that. But I plan to be back for the winter months as well, if all goes as planned. So I am planning to go to Vietnam in February. And I'm trying to see how that's going to work around my escape winter stays in Mexico that I've been doing. So we'll see. But the goal is to be in Vietnam for like 3 weeks in February, and we'll see. We'll see what happens. I haven't purchased my ticket yet, so that's still a question mark. The flights are ridiculous right now. So, and I usually use points, but even the conversion is I'm not loving what the conversion rate is right now. So we'll see. But I will be back tomorrow, 7 p.m. And then again on Tuesday, 7 p.m. And then Wednesday is going to be an after dark, late night, like 10:30, but I'll post it. And if you're on the West Coast, hopefully you can join a Pacific time or a different time zone that works better for you. Because I do know like 7 o'clock in Eastern Standard Time is still kind of, that was 4 o'clock Pacific. And that's kind of, and I know people will rewatch, but I want people to have the opportunity if they join to ask questions and all that good stuff. So I will be back tomorrow at 7, Tuesday at 7, Wednesday late night, Thursday 7, and then Friday in the morning around 10:30, 11. So check out the community tab. I always post what time we're going live, and ask any questions. And if you didn't like this video yet, go ahead and like it. The algorithm needs to do what it needs to do. If you like it, it sends it out to more people or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, so hopefully this was helpful, and I will see everyone tomorrow as we continue into the second week of our Stay Ready So You Don't Have to Get Ready live sessions. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. Good night. Happy Sunday.